Hello and welcome to the BBC West Africa. I am Lawrence Mbwani. Greetings to you and a very special guest today, straight from United States, is Snoop Lion.
Yeah, what's up?
Not much, I'm very happy to have you here in Africa to discuss Africa's problems.
Oh shit, dog, am I in Africa?
Yes,
I was
you are.
just smoking in Colorado and woke up in motherfucking Africa.
Well, you better watch out, we have real lions here, Mr. Snoop.
I put a 187 on the motherfucking line, folks.
Whoa.
Don't you see it's the Conez ocean?
Mountain motion here in Africa. Yes, live from Africa. Abidjan in the Ivory Coast. It is the Conez and Dough, your regular host, Conez and Dough.
Welcome to the Conez and Dough Show.
Welcome to the Conez and
Oh,
Dough
that
Show.
was fresh.
Yeah, that was fresh. Would you mind setting up my microphone for a second? I just
we'll just get ready.
Set up the microphone. Yeah, but,
There we go.
yeah. After those guest hosts. But how are you, my friend?
Good, man.
The real dough.
Got the quick turnaround, the weekly show back on.
And that's always good. I decided to pull my finger out a little bit and just sort of get my ass to manly.
You've obviously been doing a bunch of chin-ups. You're looking swole.
I actually thought about that because you got me pretty good last week telling me to do some chin-ups when I had some...
You're looking pretty swole.
Yeah, when I had some gay-ass complaint about getting annoyed at my computer. And you got me pretty good. And I was listening to it again today and felt guilty about not doing any exercise.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So how come you're looking so...
It's the green shirt. It's sort of a frog tack, I think
Yeah.
it's called. Yeah, it's a supplement I'm on. It's called frog tack. It helps you get really strong sort of like legs for jumping.
Nice.
Yeah. So what's been happening on the hill?
Not too much. I've been pretty fresh today. I wasn't exactly sure we were going to have the podcast, so I mistakenly was hanging out with another one of my friends and ended up having...
It wasn't a mistake to hang out with him.
No, that wasn't the mistake. I had about 260 milligram edible, like sort of a bunch of coconut oil that's sort of infused with cannabis, and
okay.
and yeah, I think it's going to be a good podcast. But yeah, apologies if I'm way too fucking high. But
Wait, you use weed? Me too.
Yeah,
You've never told me this.
oh shit.
Sometimes, just very rarely, very rarely. But well, you know, some people say weed's bad, but you know what? It can be quite bad. Alcohol. And excuse me 1 second. It was a long flight to West Africa from Sydney. Need a coffee to stay awake. But I was walking, I think last Wednesday, through the city, through Surrey Hills, and it was a sort of unseasonably sort of blustery and cold spring night, very damp, but still a lot of nightlife around, 6 o'clock on a Wednesday just near Central. And I was walking up, I believe it was Commonwealth Avenue, and there was a pub there. And there were a bunch of people drinking at the front, as there often are in the inner city. And they looked like they hadn't just knocked off work, like they'd been there for a while, right? And it had been raining, like I said, and it was pretty blustery, so there was quite a lot of rain falling in on the streets. And while I was just randomly looking over, walking past, it's not like we were hanging around, I just walked past him, saw a guy just sort of lean down from his group. So he turned away from his group who was standing at the table. And, youngish guy, maybe 21, but not necessarily a bum-looking guy, leant over and started, hand spooning water from the gutter into his mouth. Straight up, right?
What, like normal looking guy, or was it like homeless?
No, a normal looking guy, and it was with I turned to my girlfriend, I was like, what the fuck, am I the only one seeing this? Because he kept doing it, and I just was sort of shocked.
Were people filming on their phone or something?
I just saw the start of it. I saw the very beginning of it kind of thing, right? And he did it, and I just watched for a few seconds he was doing it, and all I saw, his mates turned around, and they were just sort of young, normal Australian.
It's like some jackass
shit. Australian guys, and one of his friends or members of the drinking party, as I sort of kept walking, but he slowly watching, just turned to him and was like, "Oh, you thirsty, brother?" And then I just sort of got back up and kept walking, but he didn't look.
I'd say they were just so fucked on drugs.
Dude, it was 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. They didn't look like it. It didn't look like they'd just knocked off work. So they might have been there for the afternoon, but there's no excuse for 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. He was just a normal, whatever, maybe a tradie who had an afternoon off or whatever sort of thing. Just drinking from the gutter.
Maybe he'd been using meth for his trade and then just gone a bit overboard in the day.
Because he had a beer. He had a beer with him in his hand. That's the other weird thing. He didn't even need it.
He had a beer. He was having GutterWater.
He was having GutterWater. And it wasn't a dare because none of his mates were looking until a few seconds in.
Maybe he was just having this personal introverted dare of his own. I can do this.
Okay.
He's been watching all those fucking Shia LaBeouf motivational videos and shit, and he's just like, I can drink fucking gutter water.
What's the deal with these Shia LaBeouf things? I haven't even fucking seen
He's just like, just do it. Nothing is impossible.
Is he doing it ironically, though, or is it...
No, like dead set, but I guess you never know with him. It's sort of like, what's it, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
You're like, oh, like, is it real? I don't know, but he seems pretty legit real. The message is good, but he just projects it in such a crazy way, it's just laughable the whole time.
Yeah, I'm just not sure he's garnered enough respect to be able to do those sort of... like, when Patrick Stewart does funny shit and stuff, or, like, out-of-the-box shit, you're like, okay, fair enough, but... I don't know, Shia LaBeouf. I don't know, a lot of people like him. I'm
trying to think of one that I like him in, but damn, like, Transformers was pretty meh, really. And then, like, the movie, the first one I liked, but his character and his acting, you know, it's like, you can phone that shit in pretty good.
Who would you, if you had...
Crystal Skull was a suck-ass piece of trash.
True. Yeah.
That one Holes that he's in as a child actor, I think that was supposedly an alright movie.
Yeah,
but
I've heard
I
it's
haven't
good. I've
really
never seen it.
so.
Who would you rather let marry your sister, you reckon, Shia LaBeouf or Bradley Cooper?
That's a good question.
So you'll be seeing him around a bit. They'll come. They're here for work. They're filming Great Gatsby too, and they meet her.
I guess Bradley just on face value or whatever, but
like face value as in like his face.
Yeah, both face and judging a book by its cover.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Because he could be a scumbag and just get heaps of chicks, but I don't see, like Shia could just flip out too, you know?
Yeah, flip out like one of those ice ads on TV, like headbutting the paramedic in the hospital and shit.
Yeah, like Ben Affleck on that after school special for steroids.
I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I've seen it. What happened to it?
I've only seen clips from it in that steroids documentary.
Oh, really?
It just shows Ben Affleck flipping out, like lying on the ground, punching the ground and shit. Like, I think after he like assaults his mum or something. Like,
yeah,
it's real dirty.
That good little thing in Seth clips about where it was the intro to a made-for-TV movie, and I think it's called like The First Hit, and it's like Diane Keaton as a stressed-out mum who gets addicted to meth. And the scene from that was pretty epic. So.
Yeah, that looked hardcore. I saw that too.
But
Seth clips is fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah, check that shit out if you haven't seen it. It's got lots of old VHS like clips that this guy's taped and puts the little clips together.
They're pretty crazy. But yeah, that was pretty dirty, seeing that guy direct from the gutter. I don't know what really was going on there.
Well, on that kind of shit, I was thinking about how all the previews for like video games, and even I think maybe episode 1, or episode 2, I'm not sure, Star Wars, when they came out, they used the summer overture. I forget which composer it is, but my point was that the song's originally out of Requiem for a Dream, and whenever I hear it, it's like in all these sort of like potentially like PG sort of movies and stuff for these epic, like Lord of the Rings had it, I think, and all you ever think when you've actually seen that is that's the first time I heard that song was when I saw Requiem, so it's always ass to ass for me, and I'm just like, and you're watching like a Star Wars ad and it's got the ass to ass music and shit, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's like a more epic version of it as well.
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal or Jared Leto in it?
Jared Leto,
him with his arm like his arm falling off or whatever at the end.
And is it a Wayne's brother or something?
Is it really?
I'm not sure, but it might be. And he's
it might have been Dave Chappelle sneaking in like in Conez when you watch it. You're like, fuck, that was Dave Chappelle.
Speaking of misremembering movies and shit, a couple of episodes ago on our podcast, I think I was talking about the original Terminator, and I was doing it from memory. I hadn't actually watched it for quite a number of years.
I think you owe someone an apology, though.
Yeah, I think I owe Linda Hamilton an apology because I saw it again the other night for the first time in like 10 years, and yeah, I went rogue. I was calling her pizza tits and all this shit, and there was actually nothing wrong.
You know what? It wasn't. You didn't call her pizza tits.
Pizza tits Hamilton or something?
No, I think you called her triangle tits Hamilton.
Oh, triangle, yeah, triangle Terminator titties. It's fun to say that kind of alliterative shit, but the point being, I spoke to one of my other friends as well who had watched Terminator when we were younger kids or younger. And he, when I mentioned it, he was like, yeah, remembered the same shit that I remembered. So we both had this jaded, fucked up memory of Terminator. Unless it's like some special edition shit and James Cameron's gone back and like edited out her her pizza tits, and
I'm sure.
And I'm just getting totally wrangled, and it's some Inception mindfuck shit that's happening to her.
Like the French novelist Mikhail Quebec once said, we remember our own lives little better than a book we once read.
But yeah, I think I'll just stick with the apology for now, and then if anything comes out about this conspiracy about the nude scenes in Terminator, someone's got to post it into our email.
It's like George Lucas having the original prints of Star Wars. Like James Cameron's got the original triangle pizza sort of cut of it. They've edited it out since then.
He was like, "That's something I always wanted to change."
He was married to her. I guess he ended up changing her. Oh, fuck.
Michael Biehn is fucking sweet in that too.
Really? I don't know. I thought he was a bit... I mean, what's his name? Who was it? It was Shia LaBeouf in the new one, wasn't it? No, who was it? See how forgettable these movies.
Genesis.
Yeah, no, yeah, the brand new one.
The brand new one.
Yeah, it's Arnie, and who plays the fucking... It's just some...
John Connor. It's like this random guy. I've seen him before, but
who plays Bean or whatever in it too? Bean's character.
Oh, true. He's forgettable.
Yeah, that's
Damn, who was it?
See? Could have been Bradley Cooper. Could have been Shia LaBeouf. Was it Ryan Gosling?
I don't know. Amelia Clarke was unbelievable, and the fucking male lead is forgettable. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the most memorable movie.
The storyline was kind of cool. I liked how they tried. Like, I think you mentioned that when you sort of semi-reviewed it too, is they tried to dabble in the original themes and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was really cool, but it was like just mixed with nonsensical, just
Buffy
Degrassi Junior High kind of shit.
Yeah. Buffy Degrassi dialogue.
Can you never say the word meat to me again?
It's pretty funny stuff. I guess you'd take Linda Hamilton's
perfectly normal body. Yeah,
that's what I was looking for. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was all over the shop with that.
Thank you.
With my historical review there, I should do more historical reviews and get a bunch of shit wrong. It's pretty funny.
I love how it's a historical review talking about the Terminator. You realize that shit didn't actually happen in Los Angeles in 1994. I'm the governor now, like it is the Terminator.
Have we passed 1997?
Fuck yeah.
Shit.
Lagwagon have a new album out. You should check it out. In fact, they got like 4.
I gotta listen to some new music.
Totally. Oh man, have you even heard of broadband internet? What do you have anything else to say on the apology, or you know?
Oh, I think that was pretty heartfelt. It was sincere. You know?
It was sincere.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Terminator 2 as well, and that's another one of her. That's probably her biggest movie, isn't it? So,
Terminator 2, probably. What else?
And I'm gonna get even more fucking blazed than I am today when I do, so that I fucking think that I am like John Connor or something retarded like that, and
just like the Martian, you want to be on Mars.
And then I'm melting at the end like the T-1000 and shit.
My girlfriend showed me a pretty funny little meme the other day where it was a picture of Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan, right? And a picture of him in The Martian and in Interstellar. And like the big caption on it is, "How much fucking money has America spent trying to rescue Matt Damon?" And it's sort of a fair point.
Fuck. I liked that in Interstellar. His character was really cool.
That was cool.
Pray you never feel how good it is to see another face.
Yeah, it's good. I like how cowardly and earnest he was. So, but yeah, I enjoyed that movie. I just watched it the other day. It was pretty cool. I thought I think the way I described it was if you took like the stunning yet soulless husk of a movie that is 2001: The Space Odyssey, and then gave it the human heart of Titanic. So he's merged Kubrick and fucking James Cameron. So
I just love that you're calling 2001 soulless as fucking hardcore.
It sort of is though. So he took that and put this.
I guess he tries to take the humanity out of wonder and shit.
No, don't get me wrong.
But at the same time, it's brilliant. Yeah,
amazing movie and stuff. But
he binds it to it as well with that cracked shit at the end with the fetus floating in space and stuff. Though he's trying to say that we are the universe. And
I like my emotional resonance to be a little more obvious. Nolan just mainstreamed it a little bit for me. Like I said, he took.
Oh yeah, dude. Like Interstellar was tight. It was fucking tight.
Like in Titanic, where you're like, oh, I hope the old lady gets her fucking groove back or whatever it is.
And McConaughey, like as like, you know, throwaways his acting can be at times. I'm really like some of his work or whatever.
That's a good term for a throwaway, huh?
Yeah, like Wolf of Wall Street was fucking classic.
Yeah, he was pretty good in that.
You jerk off?
I'll have to watch that. But yeah, I reckon he's one of Hollywood's premier leading men, but then again, I don't really know too much about film.
And what's the other one that's always classic? What is it? Hey, you got a joint? Could be a lot cooler if you did.
Very good. The sweat. Have you heard of the bus paradox?
The bus paradox?
Yeah.
No.
It just got discovered on the way here, right? It got discovered by me, and I was driving stuck behind all these shitty buses, right? And I got like annoyed at the buses being there, right? And they're more annoying than cars because they're bulkier, they're more dangerous, especially on like military road and peak hour traffic,
You can't
right?
see through.
You can't see through them.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 in front of me, right? And like traffic's heaps bad, so they're more annoying than if cars were there, right? But if those buses weren't there would be like an exponential number of cars on the road, actually making it slower for you in general. So it's hard to conceive. That's the bus paradox. I just discovered it on the way here. So
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know that. If you find out the answer, ride a motorbike, I guess.
Like low rider buses.
What? So they're just a bit lower down to the.
Yeah, they're sort of just car height, so you can see over them from when you're just chilling behind them.
So yeah, okay. So you just lower them heaps, right? So the.
And everyone's leaning back real far in their seat and shit.
Cool. So it's a bus, but the passengers on it are sitting at the same height as the humans in a car.
Yeah, but even more leant back as the passengers
sure,
and
just
shit.
lean back and like they're in a fucking.
And maybe at the very front, the bus driver is allowed to sit up straight because he's driving and shit.
Maybe in
So it's like this like sort of chunk at the front,
Yeah.
and then this lower bit all the way.
yeah, totally like one of these fucked up airport vehicles they have, sort of.
And everyone that gets in has to lay back like a retard.
Oh man,
You could put screens on the roof and shit though. It'd be pretty tight.
yeah. That'd be cool. It'd be hard for tall people to get in, but on the other hand, it'd be heaps easy to make it wheelchair accessible.
Well, it doesn't really matter now because in Australia, the state that we live in anyway is fucked with the bus system in the cities to the point where you got to like go to this fucking newsagent to buy a bus ticket now. Like I can't go down to the bus and pay money to get a fucking bus.
Yeah, just get an Opal card. To be fair, to be honest, I don't have heaps of sympathy with you. Come on, you're not a 90 years old.
Complaining about walking like 50 metres. I can't just walk straight to the bus stop. Yeah, I guess that was a bit trolly.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That actually annoyed me a lot. It was good. I was gonna get heaps fucking indignant. It's a streamlined like fucking payment system and shit. Like, you dinosaurs like you have no place in a 21st century system. But yeah, point taken. Either way, buses can fuck your shit up in a number of ways. Like, they keep driving past my spot in the morning. I can't get on. It's meant to be a metro bus, so they're like, oh, it functions like this metro train, but then it just never stops for like half an hour in a row because it's too full by the time it gets to me.
So that's the only solution I can think of for you, but the bus paradox is pretty fucked up. It's sort of like the Fermi paradox, but more relevant.
What's that guy Brian Greene who does those like Nova fucking quantum physics things? Yeah, I should get him onto it.
PBS and shit.
Yeah, PBS, yeah. Yeah, those things would be cool. So I guess that'll remain a mystery though.
Next time you see a bus, just consider the fact that you could be dead off the side of the road already from the accident that hasn't been caused.
Oh, fuck. Oh man, that's gonna fuck my head up.
Tune back into PBS Nova.
Brought to you by the Ford Foundation. You know how even that public television needs like ads? Like, yeah.
Science needs funding. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. We need money for war and bombs. I suppose one thing I can talk about is also on the way here. Unless you got something there?
No, keep going.
Okay.
Smash it.
Okay, obviously everybody...
Smash it, I.
Smash A. Well, speaking of smashing it, everybody's like a precious snowflake individual, as we know, right? But
Man, careful what you say. Yeah.
all right, okay. Sorry, there's a safe space, I know. So everyone's like an individual, but there's sort of archetypes of people, you know, whatever, like, you know, the crotchety old man, or sort of the kind of like, you know, surfer young dude or whatever, and their sort of disposition, their demeanour, so you sort of have a kind of idea of what that person acts like in their head, sort of. And the worst kind of archetypes of that character, I think, in society possibly, is the sort of educated, retired, and sort of shamed but bitter old white boy toucher. I know that sounds specific.
It's quite, yeah. Say it one more time.
I can't say the exact
Old
same
retired.
thing. Old retired, basically pedophiles, like old school Anglo-Saxon guys who are like being boys.
Educated,
yeah. Educated and stuff like that. Because I heard one on the way here being sort of cross-examined.
Sort of like the Jimmy Saviles and Roll Paris's of the
Yeah,
world.
but that more, but even a bit more like, there's a video, if you go online and type a video called Most Scary Kitty Fiddler, it'll bring you to someone called Jeffrey Leonard, and it's that kind. It's someone who's like new educated.
I get what type you mean now.
Yeah,
If you do look up that Scary Kitty Fiddler video on YouTube, it's pretty psychopathic.
It's pretty psycho, but guys...
The interviewer is almost just as funny as the guy getting interviewed there.
True.
Jeffrey.
But that sort of guy, okay, so because I heard this guy being examined by lawyers, so I was like, for some reason I hear heaps more on the radio, just like live coverage of trials these days, and it's pretty fun hearing the live stuff. And it was in South Australia, and this ex-boys guy, and he was this ex-boy toucher, and he was up there on the stand and sort of like accusing this. He's been convicted before, and he's convicting this other guy. This other guy is accusing him of touching him.
Yeah.
And the pedophile guy up there is claiming that the guy is just doing it for compensation, right? But instead of like you expect some old boy toucher like, no.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, he's speaking heaps educatedly, like, the accuser is just trying to fly kites here, like and he's got like this weird, like bitter, old, sort of humiliated but fighting voice. It's really hard to explain. I sort of made a hash of it, but it's so unpleasant. It's like
was he like definitely guilty? Yeah,
he's already been convicted a bunch of times
stuff,
and shit. Yeah. But he's like still dresses up in a suit. He's not like your candy van old pedophile. He's sort of like, like I know barristers kind of thing. Like I know QC.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of denial. It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, so it's pretty unpleasant. You wouldn't want to share a tent with him, I suppose, is the moral of the story. I think his name was... It wasn't Jeffrey, it was Godfrey or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a bit psycho.
Hey, Zeus. If you had to fight a world leader to sort of take over that spot to the death, who would you fight? I guess it can be from any sort of time... Or it can be now and shit.
Yeah.
Who would you fight? Like, what would be the deathmatch parameters? Like, how would you fight them and shit? Would it be like muskets at dawn, or like, you know, like 10 paces with pistols and shit? And
yeah.
And or jousting, or you can stand on the top of cars and do some new cyber jousting or some shit. You can just make it whatever you want.
Okay.
And then, what would your first political move be to distract the masses, or how would you sort of placate the masses once you've got in after doing this cool old school deathmatch entry into the political system?
Well, look, the easy answer is to go for FDR because he was in a wheelchair. I'm not that kind of guy, I don't think. This is it's a challenge. You'd want to challenge yourself and go for the higher stakes. So even though there are a lot of others I think would be easier, I'd like to go for someone a bit scary and go, say, Stalin in 1945 at the end of World War II. I'd quite like to take over a sort of victorious Soviet Union. But he's a tough... He
seems like a pretty bulky man, yeah.
Yeah, by that time he was, but I've read some biographies and he's just so wily. He's so unpredictable. I don't know what we'd do, even if we were in a ring. Like, he usually got other people to do the killing for him.
That's what I mean. How are you going to take him down? You can do the 10-pace pistol shit, but I guess you have to be good on that shit.
Because he did shit, like, when he had other meetings of his lieutenants and doing toasts, right? Like, like Russia, they do heaps of toasts, right? He'd just have water in his glass, but vodka in all his other kind of, like, political rivals and stuff. So he'd just pretend he was drinking toast, and they'd get heaps drunk. And he'd just be stone cold sober watching him. That's the kind of sneakiness we're talking about. So in Red Square, I guess, with a surrounding sort of like from Street Fighter 2, like that animated sort of, Red Square.
Yeah, with
fight.
Boris Yeltsin doing Cossack dancing in the background.
Yeah, that sort of.
Even though he's had to be time travelled there and shit.
Yeah, that sort of vibe, I think. Yeah. A Street Fighter sort of 8-bit thing, and I don't know. I suppose I'd just fucking Chun-Li kick the fuck out of his face, you know. Take over the Soviet Union, and as the first thing to make the population happy. I'd say I'd probably have to just surrender to the Nazis even when it seems like you've won, because the Nazis will take over and fulfill their destiny and make your people happy. Sorry, you put me on the spot, but that's what I think I'd do.
Well, you just is it the... Yeah, it's the motherland. So you just married the motherland to the fatherland.
I'm married to the mob, you might say. Yeah, I did. Marry the motherland to the fatherland and produce a sort of new world order.
I guess those fucked up dudes back then would call that destiny.
Yeah, well, it's my destiny. Right? But actually, to be honest,
That's what Lucky Conez doesn't have a time machine.
That was just put on the spot because my first choice was Gillard, and I didn't want to cop the flack in the media about being so yeah, Stalin.
Yeah, and you could have just gone off the top rope with Gillard and just dropped the elbow and shit.
I don't think I'd even need to do that. I think she'd be scared to come into the ring, to be honest. But I don't know, I shouldn't underestimate her. But anyway, that's why I chose Stalin. But
she might have the power of the warrior.
Power of the warrior. But yeah, that's that. I hope. Did that clear up? I know you've been wanting to know that for a while. So.
It's a pretty good answer. So Stalin would get Street Fighter death matched. You would use Chun-Li, and you'd probably beat him using Zangief. And once the game's over, I guess Stalin just has to blow his own brains out, and then...
Yeah. No, I punch and kick him to death.
With Chun-Li's avatar?
Yeah, with that.
Oh shit, this is getting pretty cyberistic. It's cool.
Yeah, because he always killed people but didn't really do it himself. He was happy.
So I think I've got this straight now. Our movie, it's a time travel movie.
Oh shit.
And
is it time?
Conez's protagonist travels back to World War II Russia,
1945,
taking with him computer game technology and avatar technology from James Cameron's future movie.
Totally. Yeah.
And then he's going to fight Stalin using a Chun-Li avatar, and Stalin's probably going to use Zangief. We're just guessing.
Yeah, he looks sort of. Wait, Zangief. Yeah, okay, yeah. And Joseph Zangief. Yeah.
Once you get in and you've defeated evil Zangief Stalin.
Yep.
What was your move going to be then?
To surrender to the Nazis, even though we just...
Oh, yeah.
Them, yeah.
So then you can... Yeah, that is a pretty good outcome for you. I know it's quite an offensive move and everything, but for the protagonist, you sort of just get to live out, you know...
Look, the Nazis...
Banging for our lines.
And this is... No, when I say the end of World War II, it's because Hitler's dead. And so Germany, they're lost, they're leaderless, and they're like, oh, at the mercy. Then all of a sudden, the person that's just invaded and conquered them fucking just surrenders and gives them back.
Oh, so you get 30 years of just running East Germany.
No, I'm the union that brought it back, and because the fucking Germany takes over the rest.
Oh, we changed the past.
Don't you realise I'm the fucking god who's been born from the marriage of the motherland and the fatherland, and then I go into future as being the god because I brought them together.
You're basically like Kim Jong-il's dad or whatever.
Yeah, but on a way bigger scale.
Yeah.
Not physically, not as in obesity.
Okay, Paramount, you've been listening, hopefully. Otherwise, I think Fox is already sending us a few 7-figure contracts, but we're looking for 9, so...
Fuck, I don't even know what I call the movie. Empire of the Sun 2 or something, maybe. Anyway, you've stolen my movie now, but thanks for
Empire of the Third Son.
Empire Record 3, yeah. Ninja.
So I guess that was my retardo question for you. I'll try and make it a bit better next week.
That was good. I enjoyed it. I thought that was good.
It took like about 5 seconds to write, so I'll try and do something a bit more creative next time.
I like that. That was good. Do you know black holes were discovered before Australia was by Europeans? Apparently they were sort of first posited in 1784. That's pretty cool. Just working out from the maths. And then now Matthew McConaughey is actually going through them. We've already sent a couple of mats into space, I think.
Whew.
Fuck, I might have a bit of joystick
I
space
drove
practice.
a Lincoln way before I got paid to drive one.
What does that even mean? Hey, if you lived in, say, somewhere where gay marriage is legal and someone kidnapped your family and said, okay, you have to marry either Sean Connery or Forrest Whitaker, who would it be?
Sean Connery or Forrest Whitaker?
Like, you're that boy twice, sort of thing.
Forrest Whitaker, because and don't take this the wrong way, it's more because I'm not into the homosexuality aspect of it than trying to be racist, but it'd be harder to see him in the dark and he'd feel a lot better to the touch. He wouldn't be this hairy fucking scaly old man. He'd be this nice soft big thing and you couldn't really see what's going on. I'd have the lights out for sure.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, guys, but you know, we try and be honest here on the Conez.
Yeah, we are trying to be honest. And to be fair, I think it's honest that Sean would rough you up a little bit behind closed doors as well, too.
Yeah, and I'd be like, sorry, not tonight, man. You'd be like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
You're the dog now, man. That sort of shit. You know?
Get on all fours and write me a story.
Sucked, not stirred. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess after his character in that movie, it's kind of nice of me to pick the black guy.
Like reparations or whatever in a way.
Yeah.
Speaking of the black guy, CSI Cyber's fucked up. It's not really speaking of the black guy, I guess. Okay. But Little Bow Wow's in it. Okay.
What is it?
CSI Cyber.
CSI Cyber.
CSI Cyber, right? And it's one of these shows like NCIS or something that you just see a million ads for, but you've sort of never watched in your life. Like Bones or whatever or something, right? And yeah, CSI Cyber, it's got Lil Bow Wow and James Van Der Beek and Patricia Arquette, and they're this like cyber crime squad for the FBI. And I've never seen so much bullshit in one episode in my life. Like, oh, it's so crazy. It's like Law and Order. Imagine, you know how they like, we pick these straight from the headline sort of stories. They do that and then present them to sort of scared old cyber illiterate kind of like mums and dads watching at home in suburbia, and the dumbest scare stories and the most bullshit like electro hacking. Like in one bit they're trying to track them down and it's like, yeah, we know he's gone there because we got this security camera and it's here, and then we saw his car 15 minutes later at the Newton service station and stuff. And then someone else will chime in and be like, plus we know that he knows that he's hunted. Evolution survival instinct kicks in, they always head uphill, so I reckon he'll be hit there. And then they just point at like another location that's uphill, as if that's the same sort of hard evidence that they had from the other stuff. Like, he's definitely going uphill because we're hunting him.
It's almost like scare tactics by the government to put those shows on TV to make you think they can do all this crazy shit that they totally can't do.
That's true. But,
and I was thinking Bow Wow in that sense, having that as his sort of arc of his career,
yeah,
he just comes off as like a second-rate Ice-T.
Yeah, that's the career path he's following, huh?
It's like, shit, dog.
It's like, shit, dog. Well, he already wears these mad fucking, like, I don't know, weird, like, yuppie old-timey suits and shit, and has these heaps of neat hair.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Where my dog's at. But James Van Der Beek's almost as bad, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them running around so much of, like, FBI, but, like, such a gay FBI kind of stuff. Not the good FBI stuff, like Silence of the Lambs.
James Van Der Beek, Bow Wow, and Patricia Arquette.
It's pretty hard to watch.
Is she the boss as well?
Yeah, she's like
fuck, that was
like
fuck
the main
me up
one.
so bad.
Yeah, she's the main
She's bad enough in. Was she in Medium or whatever it was? I can't remember. Yeah,
Medium. Cold Case.
That was
Medium.
Cold Case.
Same thing, right?
Fucking thing.
One of these shows you've never watched.
Same
whatever,
fucking
right?
thing. But yeah. Her acting was intense enough in that show for me. I don't need to see her bossing two other guys around that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
It's her, and then basically Van Der Beek as a deputy in a field in like another city. And it annoys me as well because they're meant to be, we're always flying around the country, like we've got a hack in Richmond, Virginia, but it's all just obviously shot around LA, which annoys me.
Well, I guess I'm just being a bit rough because of that Rizzoli and Eyez show. It just left a bad taste in my mouth for every other show with the chick cop in it.
Which show? Which show?
Have you ever seen Rizzoli and Eyez?
No, I don't think so. No. What's the premise of it?
I think it's just this sort of like it's quite this empowered female cop show where it's sort of these two detective girls.
I've heard of it, I think.
Yeah, they just sort of go around
solving
all this shit and still having time to have these cool character-driven relationship stories and be really emotional.
Well, that sounds pretty fresh, right? Yeah,
it is a really good show. Yeah,
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. It sounds quite good. It shows the human drama behind the headlines and stuff. Rizzoli and Eyez. Yeah. So it's sort of like, what's that fucking show? Gilmore Girls meets Law and Order, or what? This summer. Rizzoli and Eyez. Yeah. There's some dudes punching shit.
Bargain with the devil, and it has come due.
Set in Boston because there's some fucking, like, Irish little jig music.
Okay, this is our crime scene. Off the police streets!
This looks pretty good.
What side are you on, Martinez? Situation practitioners from another.
Who is that chick?
Okay, I guess that's enough. But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm fucking saying?
Sounds alright.
Like, hang on a sec, I'm gonna shoot you in the face. Oh, I dropped my purse. Oh, it's just fucking,
But is it,
makes you want to headbutt the table.
do you think that a show done like that about sort of women cops, but done like if it was
If it was done realistically, it'd be quite cool.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I agree as well.
And there could be a couple of these girls out there, but just the way that it comes off, I don't know.
There's a good one I saw.
I'm pretty mean sometimes, I don't know.
Well, if you want that, there was a BBC thing I saw called like Happy Valley about a female chick cop in Yorkshire, and it's pretty good and it's pretty wild and pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And they sort of act more like real people and stuff than these gay American ones. It's called Happy Valley.
The ad
It's
for
pretty
that
cool.
Sicario looked kind of cool.
Yeah, I've
with
seen that.
Emily Blunt.
I went and
and
saw that.
Like, she looked, it looked pretty legitimate in the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw it?
I saw it, and it was kind of cool, but it led me onto this fucking documentary about Mexico called Cartel Land,
Yeah.
which is like these guys, the filmmaker, it's a documentary, and he films like I'm an Arizona border patriot and stuff, like with his little militia group, like patrolling the Arizona border and stuff. And you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, but like, this guy's, they're a bit more hardcore than they think. And then like the other half of the documentary, or more than half really, is this Mexican town where they're sort of getting overrun by fucking like narco gangs and shit, like the cartels. So this guy, who happens to be the local, I don't sort of want to spoil it, you should go watch it, but he's a leader of some sorts and starts Autofamilias, which is like their own sort of, they just arm the men in town and they're like, fuck you cartels, we're going to chase you out. Government, like, fuck off, you soldiers are corrupt, and have like confrontations with them and make the government give them back their guns and stuff. And the whole story is just sort of the rise and fall of this movement. Like, it's so cool, but then it sort of gets corrupted, as there's a way in Mexico, and it's like this crazy arcing sort of tragic story. It's very good. Cartel Land. Fucking up.
Do a few heads roll? Or?
There's some graphic shit, and there's some crazy meth being cooked as well too. You should watch it. It'll fuck you up. Very good documentary. The meth cooks and shit.
Sweet.
The original Mexico meth cooks. Everyone thinks it's like an American white trash thing, but the Mexicans fucking came up with that shit, I think. Bless you.
Excuse me, thank you. I got a weight vest recently as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the last episode.
No, I don't think you did.
No?
I remember you.
I got one and I've got about 20 kilos to put in it at the moment, and I think I'll go get another 10 for it so that I can up it once I'm used to it. But just been wearing it around, doing a bit of shit, and I've done a few push-ups with it, which is pretty fucked up and hardcore because it is only down to
20 kilos.
Down to my waist, yeah. So then when you're doing the push-ups, it really is like heaps on your chest when you're doing it. So I was like, oh, that's pretty fucked up, but I can do that like a few times, and then I was doing the stairs, walking up and down, but I've just been trying to leave it on to like do this like little extra carbs burning, and just like just getting used to having 20 kilos on to see what it does to my body, and trying to eat a bit more and shit, right?
You should go down to Manly and have a surf with it.
And then I was like, I'm getting fully good at punching as well, because you just sit there like with this 20 kilo weight vest on, and then you stack like a decent fatty, and then when you hit it up, you're just like, you really have to commit, and like your punching technique has to be really damn nice, otherwise you could like this 20 kilo pressure could fuck up your punching style.
It's like being on the set of Predator, sort of. Yeah.
So now when you punch without the weight vest on, it's just that.
So it's all like high altitude training that the swimmers do, how they go to Colorado to train and stuff. This is sort of the equivalent of that.
Just trying to do everything you would normally do, just wearing this 20 kilo weight vest. And I was like, well, it's not like I'm not gonna smoke a bit of.
Do you have a name for this technique yet?
Bit of cannabis with the weight vest.
Do you have a name for this technique?
I'm not sure. It sounds like we were saying last week, it seems like this golden era bodybuilding shit that they already found out. And another thing was the Bruce Lee thing. I think we talked about that before as well, how I heard somewhere that after really hard training, at night he would eat hash, like just straight hash, and it's sort of the same thing. It's just you're eating the cannabis oil and the
sweet hash,
THC and shit. You get mad high, and it's a big anti-inflammatory, and it sort of works from the inside out. So I think it's pretty good.
That's pretty much proved it, huh?
But you got to get your exercise to smoking cannabis ratio right, otherwise you can just end up really skinny.
Yeah, that's true. How about if you call it punch core weight tech? That's kind of cool, huh?
Punch core weight tech, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, just doing a bit of punch core. What? A bit of punch core weight attack. I like it, yeah. Fuck, I still haven't done those chin-ups, man. Fuck.
It's gonna feel so good.
I know, I need to watch some more Arnie videos. Or just do some chin-ups. Well, I don't know.
It does work a little bit, but I think the main thing's gonna be the first time you actually do some shit like that, you'll be like, oh, it's quite good. But for like, depending how hard you go, I always go way too hard the first time when I haven't trained for like over a number of months, and then for a week I'm like, fuck this, and like you can't even physically do it for a week because you're just fucked. But after having ZMA and all that shit, after training the first couple of times, it sort of gets like, it feels quite good after you've worked out, sort of thing, rather than it being like, oh, I'm sore and this fucking sucks. It more feels like, oh, I got out all this fucking energy and I feel kind of clear-headed, and you know, it feels like you're sort of getting juiced up. But I'm not sure if that's because I'm eating like these fucking random supplements and stuff like that as well. It's not like I'm taking anything that's like illegal, in parenthesis, but I eat this branched chain amino acid shit, which basically is peptides. But it's not like I'm injecting these peptides that these AFL dudes got busted for and these NRL dudes got busted for. It's this other form of it where you can eat it and you digest branched chain amino acids, and they get absorbed quicker by your stomach and go towards building building muscle and shit quicker.
Yeah.
So there's little things that you can do like that sort of add towards like this shit and makes it not feel like you're getting as thrashed, and you can recover a bit quicker. But
cool. Is that why you've got one of those yellow syringe disposal bins attached to your wall? Or?
That's another story.
That's another story.
That's for a couple of my girlfriends.
Oh man, that could mean anything.
I think one of them's due home pretty soon.
Fuck, it's like we're in a basement in the sky, I think.
But don't worry, we don't have to stop the podcast. It'll just be like, bitch, give me my money.
Oh, I thought you meant your daughters. You shouldn't let your daughters hear that sort of language, I don't think.
My daughters.
Yeah.
I've never actually met them.
Alright, well, I suppose... What do you think of this? This is a little convoluted, but when I was coming back from a little holiday getaway and we went through Dural, and I was discussing with my girlfriend, we were like, oh, you could buy big properties out here, and she's like, oh, if you're on $40 million, she's like, yeah, like sort of trolling me, but like it'll be, she's like, oh, the best way would be to just invest like heaps of that money in like the military industrial complex.
It actually would be.
Heaps of returns, we get it back, and I'm sort of like, oh, can't we just invest in steel and this sort of stuff?
If there was a way and she knew how you could put the money in, fuck.
But that's true. But it got me thinking. It's like, is there any truth to that old? I forget who said it, but behind every great fortune, there's a great crime. And I was thinking as I was driving through Dural, these large properties, like, oh, who got this? And then I happened to see in the week that, well, two local residents. One was Ray Hadley, who's like a conservative shock jock type guy on 2GB here in Sydney in the morning. You know, that whatever, sort of abusive to people. He couldn't sell his house for $7.5 million right up there. And he really wanted to, but then the real estate agent was like, we tried to and we couldn't. And Ray Hadley was like calling him like an idiot and a dickhead and stuff like this.
On the radio?
I don't think on the radio, but just it's like in comment to like other people and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's funny. Him just blaming everyone. But him living out in Dural, and then his neighbour and the other most expensive house in Dural belongs to this chick. I'm not sure of her name. She was basically this random little tiny Australian publisher until she found this e-book called 50 Shades of Grey and bought the rights to it like 5 years ago or whatever. This tiny little publisher.
She bought the rights to it.
She was the original one before, when it was just an e-book and when not that many people knew of. She was like,
and it was just that Twilight fan fiction kind of shit.
Yeah, but this chick who lives there next to Ray Hadley, she was just the publisher. She didn't do anything, and she just found it and like, oh, probably paid a little bit for like this fucking random e-book, and then it's just worth so much money. And now she lives in Dural next to Ray Hadley. So my question is, did they get there through kind of have they achieved their money and wealth through positivity at all, or did they sort of have to commit a crime to get that amount of wealth?
Yeah, it's a grey area.
It's all a bit of a grey area, isn't it, really?
It's like Alfred Nobel fucking creating Nobel Peace Prize shit to encourage people to be really good, and then he's the dude that invented TNT.
I know, it's fucked up.
Yeah, man. And, you know, like you can... We've had that discussion too. You can do fucking brilliant shit and still be a cunt. So I invented this shit that people are gonna blow the fuck out of each other for like hundreds of years. So I think I'm gonna start a little committee that tells people that they're doing good, peaceful shit for the world. You know, like TNT's way bigger than that other peace shit.
But arguably, would you?
But his legacy is peace. You know?
Would you say? But TNT we associate with war, but there's all sorts of like infrastructure projects
there's
that
like
have improved
positive
people's
things
lives.
out of it as well.
So
yeah.
even with those things combined,
Ooh, does it level it out? Ooh, yeah, it's still grey.
Is this like karma or something? I don't know.
Still seems like a grey area, I guess, but I just like those sort of facts where it's like, haha, that guy was trying to do all this good shit because he felt guilty about blowing up all this fuckers.
Totally.
He probably dreamed all these like bleeding faces. Just why, Alfred?
Oh, that's a disturbing thought.
I should make a peace committee.
That's true. I wonder what. And George W. Bush doing those paintings as penance for the Iraq War, like painting these little dogs and stuff.
Oh, that makes up for a lot. That makes up for a lot.
There's another couple of thousand right there.
If I paint weapons of mass destruction down in Iraq, does that count?
Do we find any, Dick? Oh man.
There was some development shit my brother sent on that HoloLens.
Sure.
I'm not sure if we've actually talked about it on the live on the uploaded
On the live
show.
podcast, yeah.
On the pre-show, I think we did a little on HoloLens when it was first at that. Is it E3 or whatever the fucking Microsoft demo thing was?
So it's like this little robot computer thing that fucking.
Yeah, but now they're demoing more of a game type deal.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So the
first.
first time we watched it, it was when the person brought out like a real robot. Mm-hmm. Then you have the goggles on, you look at the robot, start up your program, and above the physical robot there's an overlay through your goggles of an animated fucking droid or whatever talking to you, and it hovers above the real robot that's going around physically. So that kind of shit was cool, and they were showing you how these games might work, and it seems like now at this Windows 10 devices event in October this year,
Sounds so sinister.
they were demoing this kind of game that seems like it should be able to be set up in your living room. Once again, it's probably just like configured to this specific type of room to make it easy and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
if it's legit, it just means that you would configure it to your room and then do this shit for real. But
We can live even more in these little fantasy worlds and shit. Would be cool.
Is free to move around as he shoots at enemies and avoids their fire.
There's a guy moving. This is going to fuck people up. Imagine when they apply Call of Duty to this.
Action happens all over.
yeah, playing Call of Duty in your room with just dudes like Nazis running into your bedroom and shit like
It's going to be crazy. Oh man.
like shooting at people coming in.
Because if you got a few of them in each room, you could set it up like that, sort of, right?
Yeah, it'd be hectic. You could like have like a full-on skirmish in your house with fake enemies and shit coming at you, and like set it up with friends with HoloLenses on and shit.
Totally.
I don't know. It all seems pretty wild. It does seem like it's all headed to that fucked up AI land and shit.
But on the other hand, maybe if you made these school shooting simulators, then that would act as sort of a deterrent and stuff, sort of thing. It's like chemical castration for pedophiles, but for gamers, right? So actual people don't shoot up their schools because you give them these really good sort of HoloLens things.
Is it pre-treatment, or is it once they get busted, then they just stay in jail forever, living out these disgusting fantasies on virtual reality?
Well, it's sort of an invitation to trouble, ultimately, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it would be good, but because you wouldn't need cages to imprison people in, to imprison them, right?
True.
You're trapping them within prisons of their own minds making using technology, sort of like Scientology.
Yeah, we're getting towards that Matrix stuff again then, yeah. It'd be kind of like the bus we were talking about, how everyone's got to lie down in the lowrider bus.
Yeah.
So we just stack them in like that Fifth Element shit in the airplane, how you just lie on those rollers and go to sleep, they knock you out.
For a little school bus ride.
So I guess, yeah, prison could just be some Matrix shit. That could be the first test of the battery cell.
I think the Matrix missed it because it was like this centralized operation. I think what's happening here is the machines are just they're gonna make us complicit in our own imprisonment. you know, by using them. It's not going to be like, ha ha ha, we're blowing you up or doing you to jail or putting you in these big battery farms. They just let you go about your business by giving you these crazy fucking like virtual reality.
Well, in that sense, we already are, because we are just slaves to making the technology better.
Yep. Yeah, slaves. We're slaves.
Yeah, that all leads to that. Ooh, we're just the stepping stone going towards that next life form that's half man, half machine. But I guess if we're going that direction, it does sort of come to what's going to be the rudimentary beginning of it, and I think it would probably be robotic sex toys myself.
Totally.
So like fleshlights that are robotic, or dildos that sort of move around like with human movement. Endoskeleton with a living tissue. Yeah, so
Good for technology. I don't know what to say to that. Do you know you can stick your dick in your iPad now too?
fuck, that's fucked up.
It's actually a little invention, yeah. I'll just show Doe.
Yeah, it looks pretty fucked.
So you can watch anything you want. It's basically an attachment to the back of your iPad. You can put your flashlight in there and
That's pretty messed up. I guess it's for doing POV porn or some shit, because if you're looking at pictures or whatever on there, it's kind of logically fucked up. But
or if you're getting cooking tips, like you're looking at a recipe.
But yeah, like maybe some people aren't getting down like that. We're thinking too logically with it ourselves.
Totally.
They're probably just watching roller coaster rides and fucking their fleshlight.
Well, I'm just picturing. Imagine Jim from American Dad. His dad catches him a lot older, like, but fucking an iPad of an apple pie. Like, just picture. He's going to Google. And what's his name with the big eyebrows walks down like Jim. Sorry.
American Pie.
Ooh, American Pie, the golden ratio.
I watched an old video that I used to get from the video store, if anyone still remembers what that shit is.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s sometime.
Nice.
And it was called 7 Lucky Ninja Kids, I believe. And I watched it again for the first time in like 25 years or some shit the other week, and it was quite hilarious and pretty cool. Like, because they were doing like pretty difficult sort of kung fu flips and shit, and like it was still quite entertaining. And then the inappropriate sort of humour and shit in it was occasionally pretty cool as well.
Cool.
It was just like sexual humour that you could only get away with in the 80s and stuff. And it's like a kids movie, you know? It was weird.
Totally.
But no, it was pretty cool. I'd recommend it. 7 Lucky Ninja Kids.
What's it about though? Does the title explain it all?
Yeah, it's retarded. Like a diamond goes missing and ends up with these kids, and they got to get it back to some specific woman, and yeah.
Man, that sounds cool.
Old schooling.
I saw some diamond smuggling shit as well when I watched Octopussy on the weekend. That old 80s one thing. And like, there's this like beautiful woman and beautiful women, like international diamond thieves, and they're like smuggling diamonds around between like East and West Germany, because it's done when the Cold War was still on. But then a Russian general is using them to smuggle a nuke into West Germany. So the Russians, this rogue Russian general, has made like a nuke that looks like an American nuke and is smuggling it with this team of circus like jewel smugglers across to West Germany, where they're putting on a show at the US Air Force Base. So then the nuke will go off and everyone will think like, oh fuck, it was an accident, it was an American nuke that went off and stuff like that. Demand that, you know, America pull all their weapons and shit out of Europe. And then this Russian general's like, haha, then we're going to invade, right? So that's his convoluted plan. But
I think I've only ever seen that one once, yeah.
It was a cool plot, but Roger Moore I don't mind, even though he was being sort of like this minstrel type character dressed up as a clown at some points, and even though it's a bit sort of cheesy.
Is he Australian?
I don't think so.
One of them was, I forget.
George Lazenby, I think.
Yeah, Lazenby, yeah. Oh, comedy, 510 BC.
I reckon some funny cunt came up with it before that. Like, that's what that book is good. Doe's reading from 1001 Great Ideas, which I brought around. It had little things and they're dated. But I reckon comedy, it's got to be like some early apes and shit who realised that like chucking bananas at like certain members of the troupe would sort of result in laughter, you know?
Yeah, I reckon my dog's kind of funny. I reckon he pisses on shit to spite people and stuff like that, and then looks at you with a smile on his face.
So you think he's conscious of the comedy and stuff? Yeah. Like Muttley sort of thing, right? Yeah. But do you think he's conscious of that in the same way that a human or perhaps an ape or bonobo would be?
In a similar way. I think we've whittled, like as a family, we've whittled his consciousness down to this sort of like, I am Max Dog, I am Max Dog. It's almost this self, but not quite sharp, you know? And he's like, thinks he can do this funny shit, you know? It's like, it's a bit more refined than I am Dog, you know? So
I am Max Dog, I do the funny, I've wondered that, but it's hard to get out of that sort of mindset, you know? I forget which philosopher, I think it was Wittgenstein, who said that even if a lion could speak English, we wouldn't understand it. We wouldn't be able to talk to it, just because our frames of reference are so different. And you sort of think of, like, horses. You're like, when you pass them in a field, you're like, what are they thinking of? And you think it would be like, horse, like, food, run. But it could be something heaps wilder than that. Like, they are just nature's practical jokers, kind of thing.
It'd be funny if consciousness is the same for all animals, and then no matter what species you are, when you experience it from the point of view of the horse or the dog or whatever, you think that you are the prime species on the planet, and everything else is like just beneath you and all this shit. Everything just fits into your mentality to like placate your ego and everything. So the dogs are just like, yeah. Pff.
That's true, and like, who are we to judge? Who are we to judge when we sort of like pray to this guy who like hurts us and sends us challenges and stuff, sort of thing? Like, if they were horses and they were looking at humans that way, they'd be like, that's a bit weird. Why aren't they just sort of thinking like, human, run, munch, snap, or whatever? Like,
so it's kind of cool to think like if after you die you become anything else, it doesn't really matter, because whatever you become is going to be the in your own mind, it's going to be the shit.
Totally. Well, that's what it all comes down to, I think. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, you know? George Orwell got it right about that.
Yeah, true. Because you saw the article during the week, didn't you, that Chinese people are training like that now and walking around in the streets on all fours to get better exercise.
I think I did see. Did you actually click
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
So what's the premise of it? Do you remember?
It burns more calories or something, and they reckon it's like this older practice, and they're bringing it back and all this shit.
Yeah,
and it showed people just walking along like a footpath next to like a river, and there's a bunch of people just walking normally, and then there's like, you know, like a line of a few people that are going on one of these all fours walks with like their ass sort of up in the air and just hands and feet on the ground, like, walking along like those creepy fucking things out of Return to Oz with wheels on their hands and shit.
Yeah, totally. It's probably the same way a Somalian would look at jogging or something, you know?
Run for fun, you son of a fuck.
That could be the hook to a song, I reckon. Run for fun, you son of a fuck. It's probably best. We'll workshop that later, I think, with some local.
Maybe if it's an English song.
I think we'll get a mixture of English and Zulu, maybe.
Put big reverb on it. It should be sweet.
Yeah, get a few people in the studio, like, what's his name? Fucking Paul Simon in the 80s.
Run for fun, you son of a fuck.
Sounds like a Bon Jovi song, maybe. Bit shifted down.
We'll get the Edge to do some fuck stick guitar.
If you had to be stuck in a sort of elevator with either Bono or Sting, who would you rather be in there with?
I'd rather be in there with Sting, because he'd last longer when I'm fucking him.
That's hard to argue with that.
He's into tantric, you know.
Yeah.
Bono would wear out, you know. He'd want me to start the elevator up again.
Yeah.
Because you know I'm hitting that emergency stop.
Yeah. Well, in the name of love, I guess he'd probably give it a go, but...
Oh, every breath I take, Stingo.
That's kind of unsettling. I just sort of meant to be stuck with conversationally. I didn't... Like, is that what you do in real life if they weren't a celebrity? If it was just a random stranger? I presumably that's your first thought?
No, because I wouldn't know about the random stranger's sex life.
That's true, so you'd be respectful, but they sort of, as a celebrity, they're putting themselves out there, that's sort of public property and shit. Yeah.
Like, if you got in there with Miley Cyrus and she didn't rub up against your dick, you'd feel pretty disappointed, you know? Like, bitch, I saw you on TV. Like, you don't act normal. Yeah, that's a bit far.
Well... I don't know what to say to that. See, I don't know if... I don't know. I don't know what kids these days are coming to when they allow her to be a role model. Or Doe, for that matter, to be a role model. And that's sad, because we are role models.
Shit. Well, on that note, I guess I have been a bit out of control today, so I'll try and keep it tame next week and not overdose on fucking cannabis oil, but it has been fun.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's just the approaching solstice that happens to the best of us. I wouldn't worry.
Blame it on your star sign.
Yeah. Blame it on the moonlight. No, don't blame it on the moonlight. Blame it on the boogie.
Don't blame it on your star sign. Don't blame it on the moonlight.
Just blame it on the large fries.
And blame it on the children. Oh, shit.
So,
well, on that note, with me being way too fucking bad today, I guess we'll end it this song. I think I completed it around 09. It's called Style Changer.
Change your style, dude.
We're gonna change this fucking style.
Don't change it.
Better fucking change it.
No, don't change it. Don't change for anyone.
I'll see you next week, brother.
See you, Doc.
See you, Conez.
Man, I'm kicking in the SYD. You seen it before like the jam at the NYC. Rushing the door with the calm, no drama rapport. Sliding faces while you're getting turned around at the door. Stop making faces cause you shouldn't drive. Bye bye, I'll see you later when the road rage skater gonna bang in your shit. And then he split. He took a while to return, but when he came back, he was pulling checkies and kick turns, gravel burn. Before you conquered the hill, I was skating behind cars when these kids were drinking titty milk. Cops are tards, they don't got nothing between their ears for stars. They fucking boot their cars and wanna bust us and bust us in some nuts. The shell is just a hollow case and fuck 'em all. You come last on my list to prove to acknowledge existence is fast. The only good pigs are fictional, and even they be getting done by the wolf. Self-righteous, ego-driven, hypocritical, critical, back to skating. Still got my board on the pavement when Jungle Jim enslaved it. I couldn't fucking take it. One shot rang out, the final hit. The city was consumed like it was breathing it in. The things is draggle-bound vagabonds are chilling on the outer sun. Dying real slow, man, they're freezing, anemic. It's the end of the world as we knew it. Everyone here just fucking blew it. So see through it and do it and make a change before it's too late. You gotta set the world straight and reiterate your faith. I wanna live. Positivity I wanna give, but it's hard when it's what it is. It's what it is. We're doomed and when no one cares, you clapping prayers to diffuse in the fucking air. We're right there in the desert of the city fair. The sun burns and pollution stains my fucking hair. My pipe scopes up the visors with the glare. The next dude wanna double dare? Come on, I'll walk you down the wall with the smashed up glass so we can see the sunset whack from the chemical warfare. Tolerance level ain't there. I wanna live, so write it out or you're fucking dead. I got some mud on my boot and even that shit burns. But when you break the world, how long before we change turns? Exploited everything and live like germs. And now the earth body has rejected the terms. They'll say they predicted it. They'll say it's a curse, but it's just the living earth getting rid of some dirt. Clean up your shit, change your style. Planetary absolution, click you close on the dial. Choose your god, your mod, hot, die with a smile. Enlight your brain function, save your soul for a while. Clean up your shit, change your style. Planetary absolution, click you close on the dial. Choose your god, your mod, hot, die with a smile. Enlight your brain function, save your soul for a while. Clean up your shit, change your style. Planetary absolution, click you close on the dial. Choose your god, your mod, hot, die with a smile. Enlight your brain function, save your soul for a while.